Hello everyone, how's it going? Well, today I thought I would do a update on the F-150 today, and this would be the first update that I've done on this truck in 3.5 years, give or take. Yeah, it's been a while, and so anyway, I just want to I've had a few requests to make a driving video and whatnot of it, and unfortunately with just so many things going on with work and everything, I just haven't had time to do it. And so anyway, we'll jump right into this. This morning I took the opportunity to get some stuff done on this thing. For starters, I washed it and cleaned it up, shined the tires up, and also went and got the tires rotated. A few things that happened recently, I would say in about the last 2 weeks. The stabilizer bar end links went bad, and I started noticing a clunking noise up here in the front end, mainly on the right front. It was really bad, but the rubber bushing, I believe it is, had just completely worn out to the point where it had just fell out. And I will show a picture right here. And as you can see, that bushing is completely screwed. Well, it's not even there. But so I guess that wouldn't be the right term to use to describe that. But yeah, the truck currently, while it doesn't get driven as much anymore, I drive the old Dodge pickup in my older videos quite a bit still. And so I keep this one off the road as much as I can. I'm trying to preserve it because, you know, my granddad's gone, and he was the one that got this truck for me initially. And here we are, we're over 10 years later, and I've still got it. And he passed away in December of 2016. So yeah, this is my very first vehicle, and I do not intend to get rid of it. This truck could possibly see the next 25 or 30 years, I would hope, in my possession. So as you can see, the paint is, I do have some pesky water spots, but I just wanted to clean it up because it was so dirty. It's been like a year since I washed it, and believe me, it was a pain in the ass to wash this thing after that long, because all that grime and everything. I mean, it's still kind of dirty, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was, because I just did not want to make a video of this thing today and it looking like dog shit. So and I've already hit a bug already, and you can see it's splattered right there. And so yeah, I did the shocks all the way around, and new front coils or front springs up here. The truck does ride better. Of course, it still doesn't ride great, because this truck has always rode rough, and that was just it's that much worse. It's exacerbated ever since I put these 10-ply tires on. I put those on 5 years? Yeah, 5 years ago. I put them on back in 2015, spring of 2015. And so they've been on there a while. They've got it had 128, I believe, on it, 128K when I put them on, and now it's got a little over 160 67K, I believe. So yeah, you're looking at almost 40,000 miles on these tires, and they still look new. I mean, it's just, they have great tread. They've been wearing great. They were expensive. Now, I'm not going to lie about that. You know, it cost me a pretty penny, $1,200 and over $1,260 that I can recall. But in my opinion, it's money well spent, because the tires just wear great. Yes, being 10 ply, the truck does ride rougher, but you know, that's just, you have to sacrifice something here and there. And the main thing that I wanted these tires for is for the more aggressive tread look. Even though the truck is two-wheel drive, I think it makes it look better, because it kind of almost mimics a 4x4, you know, just with the all-terrains on it. But give a brief little walk around here. And also another thing that happened recently is my exhaust pipes. One of my exhaust pipes coming out of my MagnaFlow muffler broke at the welds, and I put just a set of dumps. You can barely see them down there. I put 2 dumps right there at the axle, and if you're wondering what that is, that little aluminum foil looking stuff, that is a little heat, kind of a shitty looking handcrafted makeshift heat shield that I put on there. I actually made it I went to the auto parts store, got some fuel line, cut it to where I could fold it open, and put it around the brake line, because the reason I did that, and then I wrapped it with tape, that duct tape, or it's aluminum tape, which is better than actual duct tape. That stuff just does not turn loose. Handles the heat well, and it won't come off. But the reason I did that, I don't know if it would cause a problem, but with the exhaust dumping right there on the axle, I was just afraid that potentially it could cause an issue because of the heat dumping on that brake line. I don't want the brake line to melt. I doubt it would, but me doing that is just more of an overly cautious prophylactic measure, just to avoid any potentiality of the brake line failing as a result of me doing dumps right there at the axle. But the truck is done good. I just changed the oil yesterday evening. I am now running Kendall. I have been running Motorcraft, which is, I will say this right now, Kendall is the exact same thing. And Kendall is cheaper than what I can find Motorcraft for. And I have it shipped to my house. And the oil that I use is called Kendall GT1 High Performance 5W20. It is synthetic blend, and it is made by ConocoPhillips, just like Motorcraft. Motorcraft and Kendall lubricants are both ConocoPhillips products. The only difference, the only distinction between the two is the Kendall GT1 has what they call liquid titanium, which is an anti-wear additive. So that's one. All of the other additives are pretty much identical to the Motorcraft, just with the one addition, which is liquid titanium, which is actually makes it just a little bit, not much, but a little bit better than Motorcraft. And it's a little bit cheaper because you're not paying for the damn Motorcraft name, which is just, you know, in my opinion, is BS. So I've done all my research with the labs and everything, and found that Kendall is perfect. So it made absolutely no sense to continue using Motorcraft, in my opinion. And I buy it through a petroleum service company, and they ship it right to my house. So there's no need for going out and trying to find Motorcraft, or, you know, Walmart, as far as I know, let's see, last time I remember they had it at $4.47 a quart. I'm getting Kindle 12-quart bulk boxes, which this one takes 7, so which is kind of a pain instead of 6, but still, it doesn't matter. I'm still saving money, really, in the long run. I'm getting the Kindle at $4.29 a quart, and it's shipped to my door. So even though it's not that much cheaper, the fact is, you got to remember that I've got to drive out and burn gas dollars, to go find Motorcraft. I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to. So that's the reason I made the switch. The Kindle is the exact same oil, though. Engine is running perfect. Oil pressure is fantastic. This thing has 29 pounds at hot idle, like on a hot day like today. The oil pressure is just fantastic. I don't hear any phaser noise other than just a little bitty bit of phaser noise that I have noticed in this truck for many years now. Nothing new has, no problems have arisen. Thank God, knock on wood. So with all that being said, yet the truck is running great. It's shifting great. It's still, the only thing I need to do still is I need to do the brake pads. This truck has still has the original freaking brake pads on it. The brake pads on this truck have the exact same amount of mileage as the truck. They've never been changed. I know they have never been changed since I've owned it. And I owned this truck since it had just under 43K on the odometer. So that's been a while. But overall, even though I neglect to wax this truck and keep it clean and whatnot, it's still, I don't know about what y'all would think, but to me, this truck honestly does not look that bad, given that it's 13 years old, it's high mileage, and I've tried to do what I can. Now, like I said, I don't wash it as much as it needs, but it's still not, it doesn't look terrible, and I still love this color scheme on this truck, the Pablo Gold with the black primary color. And recently I backed into not recently, it's actually been a couple of years, I backed into a cable box, which is that was not my finest moment, but it was right here, and it sounded a lot worse than it was. You can barely see it, but I backed into it at about 3 miles an hour, and it felt like I had absolutely just completely screwed the bumper on this truck. But it's still in line. You can see with the trim down there, it's nice and even, so it didn't mess anything up. Like I said, you can barely see it. I mean, unless I told you, you probably wouldn't notice, except for that little paint chip right there, and where it hit right there. So, but nothing major. I know that some years back, I'm at my granddad's old place here right now. It was back in 2015. It was this block wall that he hit. I had brought my truck over here one day because I was going to take his Dodge to my house and change the oil on it. Well, the thing is, when I backed the Dodge out and then I put my truck in this parking spot here, well, my poor granddad, given that he was going downhill mentally, he actually He had to cut the grass that day. The lawnmower used to be parked here, and the truck was here. And so anyway, he backs my truck up and gets right up a little bit, I think it was further back than where it is now. And somehow or another, he didn't put it in park, or he put it in neutral or drive or something. I never really knew exactly what happened. I don't think he was able to really tell me because his mind was just not that good. But the truck ended up rolling forward, and wham! You can see where it's still not painted, but it took the blocks out and hit this pole, knocked it down, this support pole here on the house. And so yeah, the truck, you know, it has seen a few small accidents. This is where it hit the pole right here. Just barely a little scuff right there. And the A-frame is what took these blocks out. As it rolled forward, it was just boom, 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 boom. You know, I mean, just knocking and just destroying these blocks, and knocked this support beam or pole down for the carport roof. And yeah, it was it must have been a fun ride. But yeah, I came back and I noticed this whole section of block wall was torn out, and I was like, good grief, what happened here? And I realized my granddad drove the truck all over it. But it never did damage the truck though. I mean, it just barely caught the underside of the valance here, and it did. You might be able to see, I don't know where it hit the A-frame up underneath. There's some marks, and it just barely scooted across the on the bottom side of the oil pan, the low section, the sump area, I believe. It did scratch. It didn't actually dent anything. It just scuffed the bottom of the oil pan, but it never put a crease in it. It never dented it. It never did anything. And it also caught the transmission pan, because he drove it till, if you look at, well, can't hardly see because of the bush, but he drove it where the block wall was damn near center, right here, almost at the end of this door. So it actually went and also scuffed the bottom of the transmission pan, because that sits about perfectly about the same height as the oil pan, the engine oil pan. That was the old trans pan that I had on there. Now I have one with a drain plug. So that's nice. It facilitates doing the pan service and whatnot, and keeps it from being such a mess and all in your hair and whatnot. All that shit's just a damn mess. You know, of course, it would be too much money for them to put a drain plug, you know, in the original transmission pan. You know, because Ford Motor Company is a bunch of cheap bastards, you know. So, but anyway, this is still my favorite generation, which is the 11th generation F-150. And yeah, this truck is, I still have the cracked windshield. I need to get that replaced. Might be calling Safelite here soon to do that. But yeah, the truck's in great shape, all things considered. I mean, you know, it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, I really do like the look of the truck now, without the tips. It just looks cleaner to me. But anyway, I'll give you guys a quick startup. So let me set the camera down right here, and this is a warm start. Okay, so now for the remaining part of this video, I'm going to use my dash cam, which I now have installed, and so that's very nice. And as we all know, the world has plenty of assholes. I would be one of them, but I don't lie. So in the event that someone, hits me, or even if I hit someone, because I'm only human, so we're all prone to mistakes, but if someone tries to lie and they hit me, I've got something that will back me up. So I recommend anyone watching this to please get one. And I also prefer doing driving videos hands-free, so that's why I'm doing it with this one. And I don't like holding the camera. I'm tired of holding the camera when I'm driving. It's just not safe. So anyway, let's get on with the drive. Now with the windows up, the drone is really not that bad, and it's bearable. Getting off the highway like this is usually where most 5.4s start stumbling because of timing problem, oil pressure, all of that, but thankfully I don't have that issue. Alright, now we're going to get back on the highway. And I'm not gonna floor it, but I'll give like a half throttle. kind of a little exhaust note here. The sound of it sounds really nice. Old 5.4 still runs good. Knock on wood, of course. Got some warped rotors on this thing. They've been like that for years. The reason I haven't changed them is because most of the time you get new rotors, they're warped in like 20,000 miles again. for sale. I wonder what's wrong with it. Who wants to bet it's cam phasers? The fact that I've been able to get away without having to do cam phasers yet, it's a really remarkable thing. But maintenance goes a long way. So I guess that's what I would chalk it up to for the most part.